The carriage rumbled along the path. Dust rose in its wake. Inside sat a young man named Kael. His heart pounded with a mix of fear and excitement. He clutched a worn leather-bound book, his acceptance letter tucked inside. He was going to the renowned Academy of Arcane Arts.
I've always felt so ordinary.
Kael came from a small village surrounded by simple folk. His family, though loving, possessed no particular magical talents. Yet Kael had always felt a strange energy within him, a spark waiting to be ignited. Now, at the Academy, he hoped to find the means to unleash it. The Academy gates loomed before him, imposing and grand, made of black iron that spiraled into intricate magical symbols. As he passed through, he felt a tingle, a sense of entering a sacred space. He was just one among many, a small fish in a vast and powerful ocean. He took a deep breath and stepped into the Academy courtyard, ready to begin. The Academy was a labyrinth of towering spires and echoing halls. The air hummed with magical energy. Kael spent his first few weeks lost in a whirlwind of lessons. He struggled to keep up with the complex formulas and incantations. His spells fizzled and sputtered, eliciting snickers from some of the other students. One evening, while nursing his wounded pride in the library, Kael encountered Master Ilara. She was an elderly mage with eyes that glittered with ancient wisdom.
The power within you is like a wild river. Untamed, it will crash and break, but if harnessed, it can move mountains.
Her words struck a chord within him.
Master Ilara, I'm struggling. I don't know if I belong here.
Every mage possesses a unique affinity. You must find yours, the source that resonates with your soul.
Her words ignited a spark of hope within him. He just needed to find his unique path. Days turned into weeks, and Kael's frustration grew. He practiced tirelessly, poring over ancient texts and experimenting with different magical disciplines. He dabbled in elemental magic, conjuration, and illusion, but nothing felt quite right. He seemed to lack the innate talent that his peers possessed. His failures became a source of amusement for some of the other students. They called him Fizzlefingers and Sparky behind his back. Their mockery fueled his self-doubt, making him question his place at the Academy. One particularly disheartening afternoon, after a disastrous attempt at summoning a simple fire spell, Kael found himself wandering into the Academy's vast gardens. He sat by a tranquil fountain, the sound of water cascading over stone, a soothing balm to his frayed nerves.
Why can't I get this right? What am I missing?
He needed to rediscover the passion that had led him to the Academy in the first place. A realization dawned on Kael. He had been so obsessed with mastering the established schools of magic that he had neglected his own instincts. He remembered Master Ilara's words, urging him to find his unique affinity. He decided to trust his gut, to experiment with magic without the constraints of tradition. He started spending less time in the classroom and more time in the restricted section of the library. He devoured ancient texts on forgotten lore, scrolls filled with strange symbols and arcane diagrams. He felt a thrill of excitement, a sense of venturing into uncharted territory. One day he stumbled upon a dusty tome that spoke of a lost form of sound magic. It was a dangerous and unpredictable art, one that had been abandoned centuries ago. But as Kael read the words, he felt a surge of energy, a resonance deep within him.
This is what I've been searching for.
He began experimenting in secret, using his voice as a conduit for magical energy. Kael's progress was swift. He discovered that his voice possessed a unique resonance, a natural affinity for manipulating sound waves. He learned to shape them into shields of pure energy, to unleash blasts of concussive force, and even to weave illusions with whispers and echoes. His newfound abilities did not go unnoticed. The whispers about Fizzlefingers turned into murmurs of awe and disbelief. The same students who had once mocked him now watched him with a mixture of curiosity and envy. Among them was a talented young mage named Darius. He was everything Kael was not: handsome, charismatic, and naturally gifted in all forms of magic. He saw Kael's newfound abilities as a threat, a challenge to his superiority. Darius and his group of sycophants began to spread rumors about Kael, questioning the legitimacy of his magic. Their words stung, for Kael was still grappling with his own insecurities. Kael refused to be deterred. He knew the truth of his powers, the countless hours he had spent honing his craft. He would not let the envy and insecurity of others dim his light. He continued to train, pushing the boundaries of his abilities further with each passing day. His confidence grew alongside his power.
I won't let them silence me. I know what I can do, and I will prove it.
He no longer flinched under the scornful gazes of his peers. He held his head high, his voice steady and clear. He had found his voice, both literally and metaphorically, and he refused to let anyone silence him again. Master Elara observed his progress with a knowing smile. She had seen his potential from the start, the raw power waiting to be unleashed. Word of Kael's unique talents reached the ears of the Archmage, the leader of the Academy and one of the most powerful mages in the land. Intrigued, he summoned Kael to his chambers. The Archmage's chambers were simple yet imposing. Ancient artifacts lined the walls, radiating with subtle power. The Archmage himself was a figure of quiet authority, his eyes filled with wisdom and a hint of sadness.
I have heard tales of your abilities, young mage, but tales often exaggerate. Show me what you can do.
He gestured towards the center of the room where a shimmering magical circle pulsed with energy. Kael stepped into the circle, feeling the weight of the Archmage's gaze upon him. He knew that this was not just a test of his magical abilities, but also a test of his character, his resilience under pressure. He took a deep breath and began to weave his magic, his voice resonating with power. He summoned waves of sound, shaping them into intricate patterns that danced around him. He fought with a grace and precision that belied his years, his voice both weapon and shield. The Archmage watched Kael's display with growing interest. He had seen countless mages in his lifetime, prodigies who wielded magic with ease, and veterans who had honed their skills over decades. But he had never witnessed anything quite like this. Kael's magic was not simply powerful, it was innovative, groundbreaking.
You have exceeded my expectations, young mage. You possess a rare gift, one that must be nurtured and shared with the world.
The Archmage realized that he was witnessing the birth of a new era of magic, one that would redefine the very nature of their art. After what seemed like an eternity, Kael faltered. He had poured every ounce of his strength into the display, and his reserves were depleted. He stumbled back, his vision blurring, his ears ringing with the echoes of his own power. The Archmage raised a hand, silencing the lingering echoes of Kael's magic. The news of Kael's performance in the Archmage's chambers spread through the Academy like wildfire. The whispers of doubt and envy were replaced by hushed tones of awe and respect. The students who had once mocked him now looked at him with a mixture of fear and admiration. Darius and his cronies were conspicuously silent. Their attempts to discredit Kael had backfired spectacularly. They had underestimated him, mistaking his quiet confidence for weakness. Now they were forced to confront the reality of his power, a power that dwarfed their own.
We never saw this coming. How could we have been so blind?
Even the instructors, mages who had spent their lives mastering their craft, treated Kael with a newfound deference. They recognized in him a talent that transcended mere skill or knowledge. Kael, however, remained unchanged. He continued to train with the same dedication and passion, always striving for more. As the years passed, Kael's legend grew. He became known throughout the land as the Soundweaver, a mage of unparalleled power and creativity. He traveled far and wide, sharing his knowledge and using his abilities to help those in need. He used his influence to champion the underdog, to mentor young mages who reminded him of his own early struggles.
Remember, it's not just about the power you wield, but how you choose to use it.
He became a symbol of hope, showing that even the most ordinary can achieve extraordinary things with dedication and a little bit of magic. The boy who had once felt so ordinary, so out of place, had embraced his destiny. Kael's legacy extended far beyond his lifetime. His innovations in sound magic revolutionized the way magic was understood and practiced. The once forgotten art form became a respected discipline, studied by mages across the land. He established a school where young mages from all walks of life could learn and grow. He believed everyone possessed the potential for greatness. Centuries after his passing, tales of the Soundweaver were still told around campfires. He became a legend, a symbol of boundless potential. The story of Kael, the ordinary boy who became the greatest mage, was passed down through generations.